Tonight, we'll take you to the tiny community of Wrigley in the Decho of the Northwest Territories, where 5 years ago, the community lost well-known fiddler Cole Crook in a plane crash. The people who live there want to keep his memory alive by teaching young people how to carry on his legacy. Paul Andrew has the story.
He was one of the best fiddlers the North has ever produced. He was a mainstay on stage, festivals and dances. Then, before most musicians hit their peak, Kole Crook died in a plane crash in 2001. Cole Crook's death devastated a territory. For a while, the dance halls went quiet, but that did not last long. Some decided to do something in his memory. His girlfriend Stella Pelosi and others got together to honor him.
He loved his fiddle music, and at the time I played too, and I thought, what a wonderful way to honor his memory.
Pelosi, along with other friends, started the Kole Crook Fiddle Association. Their goal, to pass on the love of music to young people.
First two notes of the A part, you gotta really zip it, okay? Here we go.
The instructors were not disappointed. They discovered a talent, a hidden talent that was yearning to express itself.
These kids that we've been working with have these gems of talent in them. And I think as much for them as for us to discover those gems of talent is very meaningful, deeply meaningful.
After hours, days, and years of practice, the work is paying off. Not only has the program spread out in the Decho, fiddlers have been all over Canada, performing and sharing their talents.
And 5 years later, I can tell you that a lot of the kids are, some of them are advanced. So they're able to play for dances and public performances and stuff like that, yeah.
Teachers, adults, leaders say they notice a change in the youth. The once shy, withdrawn children are developing confidence and pride in themselves. That confidence and pride is showing up in classrooms and public performances. It's also showing up in the community.
I don't know, I talked to my dad and I talked to some elders that play, right? He said it really surprises them how fast the younger people catch on fiddling and that, so it's kind of making a big difference.
The school has an enrollment of 33 students. 22 of them are in the fiddling program. That means almost every family has a fiddler. Gabe Hardesty's two granddaughters are learning to fiddle. It brings back fond memories.
I remember a score dance in the old town, and when they want to have a dance and take the stove out and clean up the hall, the house, and the dance start. And you don't have a fire. Even in wintertime, you don't need fire because all the body heat keep everybody warm. Eh? I remember that, yeah.
Some of the students are getting so skilled at fiddle, they are becoming teachers themselves. Shailene Beton is 14 years old and has been playing for 5 years. She practices every day, and when she is not practicing, she is passing on her skills to younger children.
They asked me if I can teach them a song and that, so I would teach them. They'll come over and teach them a song.
Despite the impact of the program on communities and region, there is still a sense much more could be done with the young people. Louis Beck has been instrumental in teaching music. He says if as much money and effort went into young people as mining diamonds, it could be a very different North.
As much effort as that went into digging for the diamonds of talent and capacity and capability these children have laden in them, it would be huge.
What is huge right now is the impact of the program on the region, communities, and young people. Instructors say if the young fiddlers keep up with their music, the sky is the limit as to what they can do.
Music requires a lot of discipline, a lot of practice, a lot of, like you have to keep at it. And, so a lot of them, it's helped them with their self-esteem, their positive image. If they can play music, they just about can play anything. I guess we could do anything in life.
What started after a very sad tragedy has over 200 young people learning music. It brought joy to young people and communities, and it allowed young people from remote communities to travel all over Canada. That would be something that would make Cole Crook dance for joy. Paul Andrew, CBC News, Wrigley.
Did you hear the catch in his voice at the very end there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. At least you did it, Stella. We didn't accept.
Yeah, it's just at the time it's just you feel like you're overwhelmed, but Louis is saying, our music really helped me, get through the whole thing. Keeping up with music and stuff like that, and getting involved with the children, And, I'm hearing that it's still going on.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're not because I don't live in the north anymore. I live in Ontario.
Yeah, Louis told us that you moved too. We moved too. We moved to Alberta about, is it 8 years ago, Deanna?
Oh, whereabouts in Alberta?
Just west of Edmonton.
West of Edmonton, yeah.
Yeah.
I live in southern Ontario, which is north. It's about 3 hours north of Toronto.
So stuff here, Bailey, from when you were little.
This one was shot in 1996. We had we call it Unity Week in Fort Smith.
Cole Crook is back up now. He can pass it.
He was, I just love to watch him. I call it music in motion.
Bailey
Mhm.
did girls, he did all
There's
that.
so much enthusiasm in that. That's awesome.
Do you know he did all that by ear? He memorized all those tunes. He couldn't read music for a long time. Did you know that?
Yeah, you've told me that before.
Yeah. He
Wow.
memorized.
Awesome.
Yeah, Clell, I remember you telling me that when he was first practicing, you said it was like pulling a cat through a steel pipe, when he first started on it.
Well, the tail, yeah.
Remember that. And then it was Richard Lafferty. He took him under his wing and taught him a lot. And we practiced a lot, obviously, and it paid off. So
Yeah, Richard
passed away, you know that, eh?
Yes, I did know that, yes.
Yeah.
So they're meeting again.
That's right. Up there, yeah, playing fiddle tunes on their harps.
Yeah. I'm just glad we have these videos of Cole to look back on. Like, you don't always get that with people.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's a, I admire that guy on so many levels. I mean, just the way he was as a man, as a person. I call him the Bush Prince. He was the prince of a guy. He lived his faith. Remember when he just like days, the year he died. Remember he went around all Wrigley, knocking on doors, wishing people Merry Christmas. Remember that still?
Yes, I do. I remember that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he did that, and then that was the year he passed. And that was shortly after that. Yeah.
And he's still saving people. You know how?
Great.
We went to when we had the opportunity to go to the inquest, I think it was called, whatever part of the inquiry on his death, and the fact that it took so long to find them, because my mom, my dad, and my brother are all bush pilots, and Cole had flown with my dad quite a bit. And when we got to go to that inquiry we attended by phone from Providence, but we got to make recommendations, and one of the recommendations we made was that every plane flying north of 60 has to have more of a location device, not a ELT, not a signal. The signal that was emitting from that plane was just a beep, and it got louder and closer, or beep more often as you got closer to it. And if Cole had survived, probably all those people would have survived, because he was such a good bushman, right? Like you said, Lewis. But the plane couldn't search that much because of the ice fog, the daylight, the fact that it had to go to Whitehorse to de-ice, all that other stupid stuff. Like, if they had found them faster, things might have been different, right?
Right.
So
yeah,
now they have a different device. In all the planes that fly north of 60, they have a different device. And near Fort Providence, a month or two ago, September or October, Air Tindy flight didn't get gassed up properly by whoever the ground crew was, and they were going from Yellowknife to Simpson, and they had to detour
highway. Yeah, I read that.
Yeah, so they were found instantly because of that device.
Now, talking about Cole's legacy, these are some of the the children that Stella and I worked with at the very beginning in Wrigley, and of course it grew and expanded to include many communities. Here's one of my favorite little workshops. Stella and I chaperoned a group of kids to Inuvik, for the Great Northern Arts Festival. Yeah, and here we are rehearsing in our hotel room. Let's see if we can get a good look at that. Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
I can see it.
Okay.
So young.
Ready? I just love that little clip,
young people from all over the NWT spent a week here at the 3rd annual Kole Crook Fiddle Camp. It's a rare chance for them to get hands-on instruction from professional fiddlers, like Calvin Cairns. He normally teaches at the Victoria Conservatory of Music.
It's a really powerful experience for me as a teacher, and it's something I really value, and to get everything back that I'm putting out, it comes back tenfold, 30-fold. It's a great experience. All right, great. You're ready for Amazing Grace now.
Many of the kids at this camp were inspired to play the fiddle by the camp's namesake, Cole Crook.
More music in motion.
The much-loved musician was only 27 years old when he died in a plane crash in 2001. To honor his memory, Crook's girlfriend Stella and his friend Louis Beck set up an association devoted to teaching young people how to play the fiddle.
It was a wonderful thing to watch those talents unfold. Like some of the children that are here responded to when Stella and I put the word out, any children that want to learn fiddling, come to Youth Center, and they responded, and some of them are here now. And just to see that talent develop in them was a revelation. It was a real revelation to me, and it taught me just how much hidden talent is out there in these small communities.
19-year-old Warren Rubin is one of many students who have benefited from their work. He tried to teach himself how to play on his friend's fiddle.
After I tried Michael's fiddle for a while, my friend Michael, Michael was getting lessons from Louis, and I tagged along, and I got a fiddle from Louis. And then he gave me that fiddle, and I brought it back home, and I got this one for Christmas. So I gave another one to another friend back home, and she's using it now.
There's a lot of interest. There's a tremendous amount of interest. It's, I should go so far as to say that there's a real revival.
The fiddle camp is funded, and the fiddles are provided with money from the territorial government and registration fees collected from the students. But Beck is quick to point out that they have never turned anyone away.
We were kind of inspired by Cole. He was not the kind of guy to turn anybody away. Like, if people haven't got money to come to a camp, they can come anyway, you know, like, and that's how Cole was. And we're like that too.
Wild thing, I think I love you. But I want to know for sure. Come on, baby, you move me.
Beck hopes to see this program grow so that more young people from small communities can benefit in the future, and so that Cole Crook's legacy of bringing joy through his music can live on.
You know, you're right. What your comment was about Cole, he never turned anybody away. You know, when he was a teenager, we see him go to the soup kitchen when he was working. And I said to him, Cole, you don't have to go there. You know, we make lunch every day, and your brothers come over. And he came quite often, but every now and then I'd see him coming out of the soup kitchen, and I didn't know why. Anyway, after he passed, I went to make a donation at the soup kitchen, and the Laura Rose told me, she goes, no, you don't have to make a donation. Anytime Cole ever ate here, he'd leave no less than $50 or $100 under his plate.
What an angel, anyway.
Yeah. Bailey, the only thing wrong with the recordings is that the CBC North radio had also had some recordings, and when they were still looking for the plane, we had the radio playing in the house, and there were guests over, and there was people over, and Bailey was six or seven, and Deanna was 7 or 8. I can't remember. Allison was 12, I think.
Yeah, it was 9.
Okay. So yeah, and anytime he was over, they always just jig everywhere around the house when he played. Anyway, they heard a recording come on, and they started jigging and dancing around, and they said, "Mom, they found him! They found him! They're talking to him on the radio." And I didn't heart to tell her that it was a recording, and I just left them jig and dance around the house.
I remember the tribute, the musical tribute we had to him, with him at that, at his memorial, his funeral, and we started at 8:30 in the morning, and they kicked us out at 3:30 in the morning. It was like 8-hour tribute, musical tribute. I remember being up on stage with sort of pickup band, and they got going with kind of a tune. But anyways, people started dancing in a circle. And then there was so many people got up, they had two circles, one going one way, one going the other. I'm not sure it wasn't even three, but there was at least two. And these are a lot of people,
Mm-hmm.
And then the eulogies, they went on for 4 hours. They poured in from across the country. I read one for Andrea Hansen, who worked with them, Screams Across the Sky. He traveled with her a lot, and others who 4-hour eulogy, nobody minded. 4 hours. And finally, when they drummed his his time to take him to his final resting place, the drummers drummed him out. I'll never forget the sight. It was like royalty. Royalty.
I remember the house just being so full of people, and so many people always bringing food, and how full the building on the reserve there was for his funeral. It was insane.
I don't think collectively anybody knew how many people he touched. I don't think not one single person knew all the people he touched, only him.
Yeah.
Only God knows.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And he was so humble.
Even getting on that plane, he probably knew better. But he traveled with faith, like the gray nuns driving. He just traveled with faith. One time we were going from Hay River to Providence, back to Providence, and I had a sore back, so I repositioned myself in my seat. And when I looked past Clell out his driver window, I saw something white in the bush. And so I said, "Stop, stop, stop. That's probably Cole hitchhiking." And we backed up and went, and sure enough, and he had just got off the highway because he was so hot. He went and sat in the trees. But just uncanny. Oh, one time in Providence, I was cooking so much food, and my husband looked at me because he knows he has to eat all the leftovers. And he said, "Why are you making so much chili?" Because the girls were just little. And I looked at the pot myself, and I said, "Oh, for heaven's sakes, I am making, I don't know why. I don't know why I'm making so much chili." And then he looked out the kitchen window, and there was Cole walking up the riverbank in Port Providence, and there's about 6 boys with him.
More than that, there's probably 10.
10 of them. They had taken canoes from Hay River, and they crossed Great Slave Lake and came to Fort Providence and walked up the riverbank, and they polished up all that too. But yeah, he has that connectivity.
Is that the same time they ended up at the Horn River cabin, or was that a different time? I remember Tanner was there, Mom, Tanner Frolic.
Yeah, they went to the Horn River cabin. They had the kids camp there. Yeah.
That was another time, though.
That was another time, but that kids camp was beside my dad's cabin. Yeah.
One of my favorite memories of Cole is every time he'd play in Fort Providence, I'd go with him to the arena, and then on the way home, I'd ride on his shoulders back home, walking through the field, singing "He Nine Ho Ho" the whole way home. We just wouldn't stop.
And that's what we did in Hay River when we had, because we could run around the stairwell in the kitchen. We would climb on his shoulders and use his fingers or his ears and his nose as like steers and a stop button. And he'd be going really fast, and we'd push on his nose stop, and he'd just like, and we're almost falling like frontwards over his head. But
I remember another time him and Cole took no, Cole and Lance took their dad's truck and they were going up the Yellowknife Highway. And it was still gravel at the time, so lots of dust. And Cole was driving. No, Lance was driving. And Cole made him pull over one time. He said, slow down, Lance, because he didn't like the speed Lance was driving. But then anyway, finally, Cole, he wasn't slowing down. So then Cole said, I got to go to the bathroom. We got to stop. So Lance pulled over and stopped. And Cole got out to go to the bathroom. And when the dust settled, there was a semi like 10 feet ahead of them with rebar on it. And they never even knew it was there.
Wow.
But Cole made him pull over and stop.
Yeah.
They would have hit it otherwise.
They would have, hit it. Well, probably.
Allison, that time you're talking about when I was driving pretty slow. When you, Issya, and Cole and I were there. Yeah. Remember the buffalo on the road?
Yeah.
You know, I knew it was so dark. I knew there was something wrong. I just felt like there was something wrong. And I was only driving about 30 miles an hour, if that.
Stella, how did you and Cole meet? You two are so shy. You must have bumped into each other in the dark somewhere.
No, it wasn't like that. Yeah, it was actually at the Caribou Carnival in Yellowknife. It was in March. I remember it's in March. I didn't even want to go, and then my sister said, yeah, come on, you better go. So they somehow got a ticket for me, even though, the tickets to that show sells very quickly. So I managed to get a ticket for that talent show. So I went, and I remember it was just sort of just dark, and there's different musicians going up. It's a contest. First it was a fiddling contest, and then there's jigging and all that, and then my sister Dora's. And at the time I was like, if you knew me back then, I was really shy, kept quiet, and I sort of hid in the dark kind of thing. But my sister ran up to him after he finished playing the fiddle and said, well, come sit by us. And so Cole came to sit with us. And that's probably when I met him. But at the time, we just said hi and stuff like that. And then a couple of weeks later, he ended up in my community. We were having a carnival and all that. And that's when I kind of, got to know him a little bit. And I just thought he was an amazing fiddler. Like I've never heard anyone play, as good as him. And, I doubted I ever, well. And I just thought he was a great person. He was really kind and very just a good person, never met anybody like that, maybe there's a reason, I met someone like that, to see, that there's, someone like that, that lives among our people and stuff like that. And another thing, I never knew how well known he was until a couple months after we were walking down the street in Fort Simpson. Well, my truck was parked, in another place, and I said, well, let's go for a walk. We walked down, there was people coming up. And then it was probably then that I realized that, holy man, like he's sort of like a movie star. People were just coming up to him, and I said, well, probably then I realized that, he was well known. And
you'll have to tell us about the time when he drove you guys to Yellowknife.
She did.
Oh my goodness. Well, at the time, like my parents were sort of crazy over him too, just like everybody else, more crazy, like they really liked him and all that. And we were we usually make a trip to Yellowknife to do Christmas shopping and all that. And all of a sudden, all these people were just inviting themselves to come. My parents, my mom and dad, invited themselves, and my truck. I don't know if you remember the green truck I had back then, Ford. It was kind of small, and then my sister Sharon got invited, and it just got kind of crowded. And I know Cole was kind of, I said, well, couldn't you stop them? Like, I said, I tried, but, they just invited themselves. And so it got kind of crowded. We all went to Yellowknife. We stayed there, a few nights. I think he stayed with his mom, I think, and I stayed over at my sister's and all that. And then we did our shopping. We came back, and it was really crowded. And then there was this box of mandarin oranges. I remember it was really crowded in the truck, in the cabin of the truck. And then Cole said, we need to get rid of some of this vegetable. We need to put it at the back. And then my sister said, oh no, my banana orange, my mandarin oranges are gonna freeze and all that. And he said, no, it's not gonna freeze, believe me. And I guess what he did is that he wrapped all the oranges in a blanket and put it at the back. And he was right. We got back to Wrigley, the oranges were just fresh, not even frozen at all. And it was a couple trips like that, yeah, on and on and on. And but going back, how we met is so after the carnival, he went back to Hay River. I believe he went back to Hay River, and then he ended up in Fort Liard, tanning hides. So one night in May, late at night at 12 at night, I got a call, and I was thinking, oh, who can that be? And then his voice came on, and he says, oh, I'm in Fort Liard and all that. I'm gonna come by Wrigley, I wonder if I could come visit you and all that. And that's how we met. And then and then he hung around. He was very, very proper and all that. He didn't, he was staying over at Florence and Charlie. I don't know if you know them, Florence and Charlie Hardesty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he stayed with them for about a week, and we, hung out and stuff like that, and went to a few dinners over at my sister and all that. But each time we did go, he was always playing fiddle for them and all that, and just having fun. Like, he was very sociable, and we just had fun. And then he took off again. We took off back to Hay River and all that, and then he came back a few weeks later, and also the same summer. And then he was visiting Charlie and them, and then one day he came to my house and said, oh, I need to get myself to Toledo. And I said, wow, that's gonna be kind of hard, we probably have to get in the traffic between Wrigley and Toledo. There's hardly anybody going. It's not a heavy traffic. Like, people don't travel between those two communities that often and stuff like that. And somehow, and he said, one day he came to my house and said, oh, I'm gonna build a raft. I don't know if he told you guys about that.
Oh,
He was gonna build a raft. I said, oh no, that's not a good idea, because the river is really rough, strong currents, and the raft is gonna fall apart, and you're probably gonna, perish. That's what I told him. I said, oh no, that's not a good idea. Just wait, I'm sure somebody's gonna come by and give you a lift to Toledo. And that's exactly what happened. No, he didn't go. No, he didn't go. I think he went back to Hay River, and he went around to Newvik. I'm not sure the memory, if you guys remember how he got to Newvik. And I remember there was a big festival, the Northern Arts Festival there, and he was one of the fiddlers that was invited down there, along with Colin Adjent. And there's a video of them that I saw a couple weeks ago on YouTube. And that was the time that he was there.
He told us about escaping from some crazy women there.
Might be. I don't know. I didn't hear about that. That was kept from me, apparently.
He had to jump out of the back of a truck.
A moving truck.
They kind of took him, and they were taking him to a party, and he didn't want to go.
Yeah.
But he had a voice, and then as the truck started to go, he was in the pickup box with a bunch of other people, and he just jumped out of there like a jackrabbit, fiddle and bag and everything. And
Yeah. So he did make his way back.
yeah,
I guess he must have caught a ride. I don't know how. I don't remember how he got back to Diamond Wells and then to Toledo, and then he hitched the ride right to Wrigley. And I guess the rest of it is history after that. We started living together. And in the beginning, just looking back, the wheels were rolling a little bit too fast, but that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
And after that, he never left. He would go like traveling on occasion and stuff like that, but he always came back.
Yeah.
But when he took off, to Toledo and then probably not a lot, to Good Hope, he didn't come back. And
Yeah.
even after all these years, it's still kind of hard to talk about it a little bit. And
For a long time
I wish he didn't go, but and then then you start thinking, well, I should have stopped him, I should have did this, and like you really, things you say stuff, and you start thinking after the fact, right?
Yeah.
And the fact that I was supposed to go with him. I remember the morning of because he drove from I believe from Wrigley to Toledo on the winter road. And then I was supposed to go with him, and then I went to see my parents that morning and said, well, Cole kind of wants me to go with him, you think I should go? And my dad said, well, it's cold, maybe you should just stay. And I stayed and he went.
Yeah. Huh.
Well, there was the story you told about Cole driving everybody, a bunch of people, you and a bunch of some of your family in a yellow knife, and he drove really slow.
We talked about that.
Yeah, he said it was so slow, but looking back, he was just trying to be safe, but everybody was just tired of sitting there and they were all squished in, right? They it served him well. He was looking back, they sort of invited themselves kind of thing.
Well, we got to tell you that we're sorry he arrived with absolutely no belongings when he moved in with you, but that's not our fault because we bought him a new downfilled sleeping bag every year and he gave it away every year.
Yeah, it seems like that. Yeah, things would, just sort of disappear kind of thing, I guess he was giving it away, even food too, when I would make supper and all that, and we usually have leftovers and I put it in the fridge, but it would just disappear. We didn't have a dog or a cat.
Someone else needed it more.
Like, where's all this food going? Like, so one day I said, well, just to be curious, where's all this food going? Oh, there's an elder that I've been feeding because he didn't have much food, and that was George Talley.
Oh,
I was doing stuff like that. Yeah. And he kept himself busy, he worked, here and there.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. He always,
tried to
do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that, yeah.
Yeah. Go for this lady, and she sewed a whole bunch of wool socks, and no way of selling them. So he would buy them from her and give them away at Christmas. So for a few Christmases there, we all got a big wool pair of socks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess he knew a lot of people, and I found that out after, like when, I would see people on the streets in Yellowknife or like Hay River, and people coming up to me and stuff like that, as I'm sure they're, we're doing to your family as well. Like how many people actually knew him, and
yeah,
and loved him, and for different, reasons and all that, right? He wants to touch their lives in a positive way, you know.
He went from like, Brunswick all the way to Inuvik, like Helen Edgar.
Yeah, I know her. Yeah.
Yeah, that's way across. That's so far across Canada. I couldn't even imagine what he did in between Hay River and there.
Okay, here, let me fix my hair a little bit.
Well, here's a little Irish jig for all you Irish people.
You know, he loved life. He was full of life.
It's infectious, you know. The guy's moving and he's got energy and people are dancing and it's engaging, you know. And where would you rather be? Would you rather be in the audience in a chair, or would you rather be up there playing that stuff? Well,
and every time he comes around, he always has something to see, you know, and something good, and he's never sad. You know, and he just loved playing that fiddle too.
the difference with Cole was that not only was he a fiddle player, but he was a really, really good fiddle player.
And he went after his music at full force. It was built right in him, and he wanted it.
He always had a smile on his face, and he was always happy to see people that he knew, you know, and he was very good with kids.
When I see him with kids, he'd always be putting his arm around them and joking around with them. And when I see him with the elder, he'd always have his hat off and wholeheartedly listening to them.
When you're gonna play a fast tune, tighten your bow up. You see the tension.
I think he had a spiritual sense and an artistic sense and a sense of owing something back to the community, of working with people. I think he had a bit of a visionary.
I started fiddling in 2002 when I just heard about Kole Crook Fiddle Camp, so I thought I would take part of it too. When I first tried it, it was breathtaking.
Music is a universal language. Music ties people together, brings people together. Learning to play the fiddle will make them part of a social network.
A lot of the misunderstanding between generations is just about lack of communication and maybe people being afraid to reach out to each other, but I don't think that was a barrier that Cole ever let hold him back.
He was always so free and easy. And so when I heard he passed, it was sad, but a couple of years later when they started up the Fiddle Association, I saw the kids again. It's a legacy that'll be here forever. And our communities will dance more.
He enjoyed everybody, young people, old people. He went into the houses of people to say, I'm Cole Crook, I want to meet you. I want to sit down and have tea with you. I want you to tell me some stories about yourself, because I want to know.
I think that's so beautiful. I think that he has touched so many people, and so many people have responded.
Everything is beautiful for me, and that's the kind of message and legacy that he brought.
The spirit of Cole is still alive in a lot of those young fiddle players, and that's so beautiful.
That was a good one. All those people. They're all respected elders like Stephen Cackwee and George Tuckeroo and Jane Groenewegen and
Fabian, Frank Fabian. I didn't see Angus Bolio in there.
Doug Lamelise.
No, but his wife was there.
His wife.
Oh yes, yeah, she was. So she was. That's right. Angus, he's still going. He's still playing. Didn't you say, Stell? Angus is still playing. Angus Bolio.
I think he is. Yeah, he still is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Louis, do you know an update on that? Because that's just a
Really?
preview of it, right? But the actual video hasn't been released, I think. I'm not sure exactly where
It hasn't. Yeah, it hasn't.
Yeah.
No, it hasn't. I mean, this might be it, but I hope it isn't. Hopefully, I mean, it's really good what we saw so far. Really well done.
Yeah, that's just.
I've got another something else here. This is at one of our camps. I think it was our third Cole Crook fiddle camp. I wrote this poem for Cole. Here it is here. "O thou my fiddle, please tell me why. Why are you sad and why do you cry? Why dreary notes that once played so gaily? Why lamentation, why weeping and wailing?" And the fiddle answers, "It's you that I weep for, my beloved master. That's why my bow cannot move faster. No more your strong fingers will draw from my strings high-spirited notes to make people's hearts sing. No more will their feet step light to my song, nor more will they dance the whole summer night long. And that is the reason I cannot go on, because you, my dear master, are no. Here's Cole speaks from the spirit realm. He says, "Weep not for my fiddle, for I'm still here. I'm not gone away, so be of good cheer. Look how my spirit, now free from its cage, inspires budding new fiddlers of young and old age. See how they now take up fiddle and bow and learn those old tunes, ones you and I know. See their weak faltering fingers become strong, deft and sure, drawing out lively notes so sweet and so pure. Dancers' feet will now stir to the music they play, many more, O my fiddle, than did in my day. Soon spirits will soar as those tunes again sing, as the music they play as their hearts all take wing. See how these new fiddlers, how they all teach each other, parents and children, friends, sisters and brothers, and of helping them be all they can be. So my dear fiddle, come celebrate with me." Okay, now I'm gonna play it for you. And then you're gonna have to picture your mind's eye. This is when we got the song up to full tempo and the dancers start to dance. You're gonna have to picture it, because unfortunately it's
"O thou my fiddle, please tell me why. Why you are sad and why do you cry? Why dreary notes that once played so gaily? Why lamentation? Why weeping and wailing? Tis you that I weep for, my beloved master. It's why my poor bow cannot move faster. No more her strong fingers will draw on my strings high-spirited notes to make people's hearts sing. No more will their feet step light my song. No more will they dance the whole summer night long. And that is the reason why I cannot go on, because you, my dear master, are now long gone." "Weep not, my fiddle, for I am still here. I've not gone away, so be of good cheer. Look how my spirit, now free from its cage, inspires budding new fiddlers of young and old age. See how they now take up fiddle and bow and learn those old tunes, the ones you and I know. See their weak faltering fingers become strong, deft and sure, drawing out lively notes so sweet and so pure. Dancers' feet will soon stir to the music they play. Many more, O my fiddle, than did in my day. Soon spirits will soar as the tunes again sing, at the music they play as their hearts all take wing. See these new fiddlers, how they all teach each other, parents and children, friends, sisters and brothers, and I'm helping them be all they can be. So my dear fiddle, come celebrate with me.
yeah, his legacy lives on. It lives on. It's still even this day. They're still the fiddle camps are happening. The regular jamboree, that one we started in Simpson. Remember that, Stell? We started
It's still
that.
going on, I think, yeah.
Yeah, here we go. This is Wesley playing at the Olympics. This was in 11 years ago now. Okay, now I call him Cole's proxy because he had this. He sort of like it was like sort of like the not exactly the reincarnation of Cole, but he had the same, I don't know, passion for music, talent for music. So anyway, here he is. 2010 Olympics in Vancouver. My stepdaughter.
You're good. You know where you're going? Yes.
Thank you. Yes.
The wall is your arena. Here. Legends will be born. All of us.
So it came to them.
Champions.
Yeah, though we promised we were agreed to meet at 7:30.
Why not let that person
About
be you?
10 minutes from here.
The descending olive leaves turn gold and copper overnight. We dance and drum our way towards winter. Not so fast the fiddle strings fly. The bow's hair fatting like women's hair. But the raw northern flair, Bay River hosts a jamboree of Metis from all parts of Canada.
Wesley on the left hand. This was your left hand.
Oh, I was just saying, it's Bailey. I just was saying I recognized the guy on the right that was fiddling beside Wes.
Richard Lafferty.
Oh, okay.
Lafferty,
That is okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know a lot of these people you guys talk about because I was just so young. I don't remember a lot from my childhood. So, but this was awesome. Awesome, Lewis.
But yeah, it's part of Cole's legacy. You see, it was he learned at one of our camps. You know, he started at one of our camps, and I often say if the Cole Crook Fiddle Association did nothing else, that put this guy on the path he's on now, it was worth it.
Yeah, for the kids. Yeah, good for the kids, the youth, and into their adulthood.
It's really important to have somebody, you know, in each community, sort of there on the ground to keep the ball rolling, because the Cole Crook Fiddle Association sends teachers in to the communities regularly. Unless there's somebody there in the community to keep the ball rolling, it's like
if it wasn't for you and Stella, it would have died. And you guys deserve a lot of credit for what's going on there and what's still going on today.
Looking back, you know, like I remember when we first started, like it actually started at my house in my living room, right, Lewis? Because we didn't have a place to practice with the kids. And, you know, we started there.
Yeah.
And it just kind of blossomed.
Yeah, and I remember we'd have, like we started, as much to deal with our own grief at the loss of our friend, and
it helped me a lot.
yeah, we'd have the classes with the kids, and the kids would go home. We'd stay up long after talking about Cole, so it was really therapeutic for us, wasn't it, to do that.
It was.
It brought a lot of joy to people, and and with the young people too, to give them. And I'd say this to my students in Wrigley. I said, you guys are making a difference. You're bringing joy to your people. You're bringing joy to people outside the community. We actually played for the Governor General, Michael John. I don't know if you were there, Stella, when we did that. She came to Simpson, and we played for her. Yeah.
Well, they say music helps kids learn too.
Ground.
Well, it's true. Like one of our it facilitates other kinds of learning. Like one of our remember Raylene Peter in Wrigley still, she sort of had learning problems, and the special needs assistant, Sarah Lenny, she said that after Raylene started taking fiddle, her reading improved. So there must be some kind of left brain, right brain crossover that's facilitated somehow with music. Yeah.
Yeah, I think because they have to use two hands, so it makes the less active side of the brain more active, and it
does something. Yeah, so it's beneficial in
Awesome.
other ways than you might think.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, it's giving the youth, the young people, a sense of purpose.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody needs a sense of purpose, you see, and the youth, if they believe, they realize, and I was at pains to help them realize that they were doing that. They were making a difference out there with bringing joy to the people, their own people and others outside. And some of these kids have traveled. They've traveled to. Well, Stella and I took the kids up to Inuvik twice, didn't we? To the Great Northern Arts Festival on two occasions. Yeah, two summers running, and I remember we
ended up in Fort Good Hope.
Yeah, that's right. We first in 2005 we went up to the festival first. Yeah. We were in good practice. And actually, our best concert was at the airport. It was. We remember that we were waiting for the plane. The airplane was delayed. It had an hour and a half before the plane arrived. So I told the kids, get your fiddles out. And who else? Who was it from Kugluktuk that was there? That well-known fiddler, copper mine, Colin Adjan. He was there. And he got his fiddle too.
We died recently, I think.
Pardon? Yes, he did.
Colin just died.
Yes, he did. Yeah, he passed.
Yeah.
So we gave them a hell of a concert. We were in good form by then. We gave the best concert of that whole trip. And then the next year we went to we were in better shape. It was there was you and me, there was Shadeen, Jarrett, and Savannah. Yeah. And they really gave a good account of them. I wonder if we can find that. How's everybody doing? Are we still okay to carry on like this? Or people still want to keep going? Or that's Jarrett Moses. Yeah, Shadeen Baton. These are some of our best fiddlers. There's Savannah. She's still playing. She's good. Okay, we're on the way.
At the Simpson Ferry?
Across the Liard River, the Dooley Ferry. that was Shaylin's first flight. She's looking really nervous.
That's the other thing. It opened up opportunities for them to travel.
Yeah, that's right. First flight, I'm sure.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. That was Riley's Reel, and these are the Cole Crook fiddlers, and I'll just introduce them. That young man in black there is Jared Moses. The little girl between them, that's Savannah Baton. And the bigger girl to her left is Shaylin Baton. I'm Louis Beck, and we're from Big. Cole Crook from Hay River. Just to tell you a little bit of the history of the Cole Crook fiddlers, they were named after a very well-loved and respected fiddler by the name of Cole Crook from Hay River. And Cole lived in, some of you may know him or known of him. And Cole spent a lot of time traveling throughout the north. He played fiddle. He was an excellent fiddler, and he was a very nice guy. And he spent a lot of time traveling through the north, playing music for dances and weddings, and he also spent a lot of time teaching the kids fiddle. Traveled quite a bit with Andrea Hansen from Strings Across the Sky, who some of you may know or know of. And sadly, he died in a plane crash 4.5 years ago. And since then, his girlfriend Stella and I, who were neighbors in Wrigley and co-workers, we decided that in Cole's memory, we would carry on his legacy teaching fiddle. And Stella's sitting right there behind the camera. Stella Pellicy. Stella? We also have Cole's mom, Abby, sitting right beside her. And we're just happy to have her here so we can properly honor her and Cole's memory through the work that we're doing, which is our aim. So we've got another few songs here. Let's see, what have we got? Oh, okay. Those of you who know your American folk music will recognize this tune. I remember singing it myself in grade 5. It's called Liza Jane. Okay, Asian down bow. Down to 4. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Louis, can you let Deanna back in the meeting?
Oh,
I'm back in now.
okay. I thought so, yeah.
Even little ones, a sense of confidence. They share music.
That's long. Different part of the festival.